I'm Geoff Nemnich.
And I'm Rick Paillet.
And we're the hosts of The Last Stand. Coyote hunting is my passion.
And coyote calls are my livelihood.
And together we aim to bring you the best predator hunting tips, tricks, and tactics, right down to The Last Stand.
The Last Stand, presented by Lucky Duck Predator Calls. We are the masters of deception. Swagger bipods. Shoot with confidence, shoot with swagger. Onyx Hunt. Know where you stand. Hornady. Accurate, deadly, dependable. Pulsar. Image, quality. Silencer Central. Silence delivered.
Hey guys, welcome back. Another episode of The Last Stand. It's our third and final day in Arizona. And probably some of our most fun things we do down here or anywhere we go is winging it. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to be 100% public land today. We're going to hit some spots where we have hit for about 2-3 hours a couple years ago. So we kind of got a little bit, but the rest of the day, hey, Dustin, I'm going to be driving. Dustin's going to be on Onyx. We're going to be looking as we're going. We're going to be looking for cover and places where we think there's going to be coyotes, and we're going to go. The downside is we could strike out all day, but you never know what you might find too, right?
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Part of being a coyote hunter is constantly finding new places to call coyotes, right? You don't want to get stale hunting those same old spots over and over, so that's part of it. We can find a bunch of new ground today, hopefully, some new stands that we can make in the future, and just see some new country, explore some stuff. So, if you're looking to become a better coyote hunter, I invite you to check out our all-new website, which is tlshunt.com. Kind of all the stuff that we're doing today, we're going to go in on the website. We go through in great detail on how you can come down here to the public lands of Arizona and wing it and find places and kill coyotes. So hopefully it works out today. I'm excited. Got us a nice little first stand picked out right here. Let's get in there and see what we can get done. Well, we got set up here on our first stand of the morning. Last night, Dustin and I sat around and we pulled up Onyx. Obviously, we're looking at the land structure as far as whether it was private or public. But we also zoomed in. You start looking at the satellite imagery on there to kind of see what the vegetation looks like. It's hard to see terrain, really, especially micro terrain, which is really what affects us as coyote hunters when it comes to making a setup. But we could tell that this little piece of public gave us access right into here. But we could tell that the vegetation was pretty thick in pockets, which is what I'm looking for. I mean, that thicker vegetation is what's going to hold the coyotes. But we're on the backside of some ag country, which when you start mixing, ag with this, desert pasture country, that's kind of that transition area stuff that holds coyotes. So we walked in here about 500 yards, kind of got around this side hill so we could see the downwind half. I got Dustin tucked in up in front of me about 40 yards. Super Volt's out in front of him. I purposely kind of sat up just a bit higher and on this downwind half so I can kill anything that does decide to loop. But let's give it a shot. I'm going to do more traditional sound sequence that I use for at least the morning to see what the coyotes responded to. Maybe a rap, maybe Lucky Pecker, then TNT for maybe the first 5 minutes, and then roll through some pup distresses and things and see if we can get any response out of that. I think I'm going to shoot him right there. First stand of the morning, public land. We picked this stand off of Onyx. We just knocked down a bobcat. About 140 yards down there, he checked up and sat down, so we've been calling about 4 or 5 minutes. I actually heard Dustin say something, But luckily it sat up in the open down there and got her killed. Well, we just knocked down a coyote. Bobcat coyote on the same stand. Public land, first stand of the morning. We're about 12 minutes in. After I shot the bobcat, I went to a little TNT, mixed a little schoolyard brawl in there. And then I've been going, pup distresses for about the last 4 minutes, and this coyote came from the right. He kind of looped out around us a little bit, but he stopped down here about 100 yards. Dustin was able to transition to his rifle. He shot him right down here in the brush. There's another coyote howling back to our right, but I'm gonna play maybe about 2 more minutes of some coyote fights and stuff and see if the second coyote shows up.
Hit sounded good. You got that coyote?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? He stopped behind the thing, and I heard you say something, and I saw him kind of come through the gap there, making that loop on us, but...
That's pretty cool. I thought that was a coyote out there.
I did too. When I first saw, I heard you say something, so I knew the damn thing was coming.
Yeah.
And I just told Cam, I said, get ready. I think Dustin sees something. And then there in that gap, all of a sudden he was, oh, there he is, standing there looking. And I swung over and got the scope on him, and I was like, oh, it's a cat. And then all of a sudden I got the shakes, and I'm like, oh my God. And he was sitting down, so I'm like.
Was that you that took a deep breath?
I hit the lip squeaks, and then when he just sat there, I'm like, okay, he's done. But I'm like, that's doable,
Yeah.
And so, yeah, then I'm like, oh my God, I was not. And then right before I shot, he did the old, he was sitting there like this, and then I was in the scope, and all of a sudden he goes like this, and I'm like, oh, he's getting ready to go. And then.
All I could hear was.
Yeah. Shoot on the respiratory pause, man. That's not a very big target out there.
That's pretty cool stand to get captured, though. Coyote bobcat.
Dude, how many years we've been hunting Arizona, we've never killed a cat and a coyote on the same stand.
No, we never have.
And to do it on the first stand of the morning, we just looked at the map,
Yeah.
public land.
New spot, never been here.
Never been here. That's crazy.
Yeah, that was a cool stand.
Another good sized tom. Wow, this is a pretty one. That's a good one.
Big old male.
Welcome to the Last Stand Coyote class with me, Geoff Nemnich. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned coyote hunter, this class has something for you. Throughout the website, you'll find over 50 teaching videos broken down in an easy to follow format, specific stand breakdowns and analysis, exclusive Last Stand episodes chock full with even more info and tips and tactics than you find on the normal YouTube page, monthly live seminars and question and answer sessions with myself, plus much more. At the end of the day, the whole goal is to be able to take everything that you're learning through this course, go out to the field and kill more coyotes. So implementing these strategies out on your own is the key. The fundamentals are the same no matter if I'm hunting in the east or the west. Yes, the terrain's different, the lay of the land's different, and I take all these variables that we're going to be talking about throughout these courses and be able to mold these into those specific areas to kill more coyotes. Join me today and let's start killing more coyotes.
Well, we're into our third stand of the morning. Dustin was kind of managing Onyx as we were driving. We're kind of making our way up to a few spots we made a couple years ago, but on the way there, we're driving through a bunch of ag fields and stuff like that, and there's one little chunk of public in here, kind of more desert, pasture country, so a little bit of water, ton of does around here, so we're gonna give it a shot. Dustin's tucked into a thick bunch of mesquite brush right over here, right behind the call. I kind of found myself a spot over to the side where I have a little more avenues. I have a little more open spots to make a longer shot in case we get a coyote that checks up a little bit. So once again, going to do about a 8-10 minute stand. See what shows up. I got a little too greedy on that one. I mean, I knew better. I knew that wasn't a shotgun coyote, but when he kept coming like that, I thought, oh, he's going to get right into here. Problem was, he just stopped right here about 40, 50 yards from Dustin. And then, of course, he kind of spun to leave, and that's when Dustin shot him going away, which is not a great shot with shotgun. I had a couple shots through this mesquite. He definitely hit him, but we'll run out there and look real quick. Sometimes those pellets, you can heart shoot them, and a coyote will run maybe 100 yards and die. But it's pretty cool. I was watching out here, and a big flock of doves got flushed up, and then there was a raven kind of following. Sure enough, it wasn't 30 seconds after that coyote showed up, so sometimes the birds give them away. Well, we gave it the college try, looking for him. You know, sometimes they just, you hit him twice with that shotgun, you know, but problem with dang, that's what, shotguns get a bad rap, because as soon as the coyote turns to leave, if you don't get him in the back of the head, I don't care what you're shooting. I mean, maybe you're shooting some of that real high dollar stuff, but you know, gosh dang it, you know. And then of course when he runs, I was shooting through a mesquite. I didn't have good shots, but you know, when you have a wounded coyote like that, you could visibly tell in the footage he was hit, you know. But all you can hope for in those straight is you tuck a pellet up and you heart shoot them. But if you do that, we made a good 100-yard pass out there. If they made it farther than that, we're just kind of wasting our time, unfortunately, you know. But it was pretty sweet. I mean, that pretty cool footage watching them come through there. Birds gave them away. Good sign. I mean, 2 out of the 3 stands, public ground this morning.
He's dead out there somewhere.
That was one of those from here on out. When we know better, shotgun coyotes are the ones that are just running so hard and they're not looking at anything else. I knew better.
He stopped out there too. After he flushed those doves, he was just stopped out there, and that's when I should have switched.
I knew better too, and that's the difference between filming for coyotes and just hunting coyotes. Like, I would have barked him right there about where the camera's at and shot him. Yeah. But we get greedy with the cameras trying to get you guys the best footage, but so it doesn't always work out, but that was pretty cool nonetheless. But we got a little plan. 2 out of 3 public land coyotes, man. It's a good start to the day. Well, let's try to kill us a coyote right before lunch here. Got a couple blank stands in a row. This is our 6th stand of the morning. Like I said, a little slower going, a little slower pace, obviously, when you're winging it like this. Just, you don't know the roads, you don't know what the access points look like, but once again, we found us just another little chunk of public, about a half section, you know, surrounded by private, surrounded by ag. Not real thick. I have pretty good visibility. The thickest stuff looks like it's back in there about 300 yards, which is perfect. So I know Dustin, he's not too excited that this isn't probably going to be a shotgun stand, but I like it. We'll get them coming in, and if they make it, we'll get them shot with a rifle. But it's going to be about an 8-minute stand. I'm going to play maybe 4 minutes of TNT, and then maybe about 4 minutes of some different pup distresses, and we're going to be out of here. Well, that was pretty sweet. That coyote was running good. That was probably our hardest charging coyote of the day so far. Too bad we just didn't have a little more cover that would have been a shotgun coyote, I think, as hard as he was coming, but pretty sweet.
I feel like that's cheating when you stop him and shoot him with a rifle.
In the circle of rifle hunters, we call that a chip shot.
Circle of shotgun hunters, we call that cheating.
Man, I think that would have been a shotgun coyote.
Yeah.
Had a little more cover. He was booking it.
And you know why it happened? It's because before we sit down, you're like, this is rifle stand, bark him.
Well, I looked over and I saw you had, when I was looking out this way and Cam spotted him, you know, you'd already seen it.
Yeah.
And then I look over at you real quick and you had your rifle up and I'm like, okay, well, we got to
literally clicked the safety back on. I was going to put my gun down and grab the shotgun, and I was like, no, I'm already good.
Man, he come from a long ways.
Yeah.
You know what makes this stand so awesome? Is like anybody that hunts coyotes could have done what we just did.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have special permission and access, and this is a piece of public state land.
Yeah.
And we parked on the county road, we walked in 300 yards, hit play, killed a coyote. That's what makes this stuff fun.
Yep.
There is something nostalgic about it, right? Like, I think, you know, it's one thing where I come from, at least in Nebraska, even Kansas, it's just private. It's what it is, right? You come down here and it's 50-50, public, private kind of mix.
There's something about killing coyotes on public that
Yeah.
you're like, just makes you kind of feel,
It's fun.
puff your chest out a little bit, like, man, we did something cool, because, you know, it's January now. I mean, these coyotes been hunted, they had to have been hunted a while down here, you know. And this coyote came running right into a rabbit, you know. So
Yeah.
didn't have to do anything special. Sometimes you just get in the right spot, you know. That's, to me, that's half a calling. A lot of people put a lot of thought into what exact sound you play. But me, I don't know how you feel, but me personally, it's more your setup and where exactly you're at calling from, to me, is more important than the sound that you're playing. You know, and that was the key here. I mean, so think about that. If you're the type of guy that's always asking everybody what kind of sound's working, it's not always that. You know, it's where you're at, how good are your setups, are you in where the coyotes are at, you know? And, you know, obviously we were in this coyote's bubble. You know, if you guys go to the website, tlshunt.com, we talk a lot about setups and bubbles and things like that. You know, and we were in this coyote's bubble, and you know, when they show up within 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, coyote wasn't very far.
No.
400 yards
Yeah.
probably or so. You know, that's
Surprised
what you like.
There wasn't a male following her.
Yeah, that'd have been awesome, because this would have been the one where if we had a double, I think we could get some shooting in. But nice. Well, I think, you know, we were looking at Onyx. I think we might make one more spot down here, but other than that, I think we're gonna make a run. Maybe 30, 40 minutes up. We kind of scouted out a new area, has some state land mixed in with some ag and things like that. You know, be a fun afternoon. Go to some country we've never seen before.
Make some new 100%ers.
You bet. Nice, man. Good shooting.
Thanks.
We're trying to get to our spot that we found on Onyx up north. But on the way there, Dustin found us a little honey hole, hopefully. Just a little chunk of public mixed into some private. Really good cover in here, lots of big brush, not a lot of grass, so visibility should be good. Potentially, you know, there's potential for a cat in here. I don't know if there's quite enough smaller brush for a cat, but I'm gonna start off with a lucky pecker for a couple minutes, then go to TNT for maybe 3 minutes, and then maybe finish for 2 or 3 minutes with, you know, some sort of pup distress. But I'm off to the right. Dustin's over here to the left. Call's out in front of him. But I have a little bit better vantage point through some shooting lanes where I'm at. So it's pretty much dead calm, but I'm cranking the volume. Where? Oh, yeah. He's behind the tree. I should be on my right. There's another one to the left. Whoop! 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 There's 2 of them. Are you on that one? It's coming to the right. It's going to pop out in this opening. Nope, it went back. Well, 2 in a row. You know, that's kind of what you expect when you do hunt public land coyotes late in the season. Those coyotes acted like they had been hunted a little bit pressured to some extent. You know, the first coyote was out at front. I didn't see it. The camera guy, the camera's just a little bit different angle. I didn't see the coyote. But then all of a sudden off to the left, there was one cutting through there. He wasn't really coming at the call. He was kind of looping out there about 100 yards. I couldn't get him to stop in this opening, and he disappeared, and he met up with the second coyote out there. I had about a 150-yard shot right down the lane. They both were standing next to each other. Unfortunately, the camera was just a little bit different angle. Didn't see him, so. But a dead coyote's a dead coyote. Well, man, you're the master of finding those coyotes on Onyx, you know? Oh, yeah, he's a good one, Phil. He's the biggest one of the trip.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hog.
Yeah. As some might say, you shoot a big old alpha like that on public ground, doing something right, huh?
Yeah.
You know, that's, you know, you get in this brush and, you know, we like to spread out a little bit because we all have different angles and things. Sometimes, too, if the camera's not right over your shoulder, they don't always have the angle, but no, pretty dang cool. Well, we got into some new country. It's about 2 o'clock.
Figured we got about 3.5 hours to hunt down here. On the way, we actually drove clear to the far north end. We got a kind of a south-southeast wind, so we went really as far north as we were wanting to go. Along that route, Dustin was on Onyx, dropped 4 or 5 different pins of stands we're going to make on the way out. And then that leaves us a little leeway in case we find something that looks good as we're working our way back down through. But just looking for cover. Got a big wash that runs through here, mesquites, cactuses, sagebrush, all kinds of stuff. Downwind's on this wide open, so any coyote comes out of this thick stuff, either they're going to come straight to the call or they're going to fade off this way, and we should have a pretty good shot. So quick stands. Everything's been coming in pretty quick today. So going to make about an 8-minute stand, maybe 4 or 5 minutes of rabbit, and 3 or 4 minutes of pup distress, and we're going to be out of here. See him out there. Whoop. Yeah, he so unmotivated. But doesn't matter how unmotivated they are when you get them to about 150, you shoot them, I guess. Once again, public land coyote. Hey, we just created a new 100%er. Keep picking the good spots, man.
Hey, let's keep going.
You're a master at that. All we're looking for is cover. I mean, where's the thickest stuff we could find out here? I mean, that's just anywhere you live in the country, cover, right? I mean, that's what we look for. That's the probability says that's where the coyotes are going to be. So using Onyx, using satellite imagery, driving around, looking at the areas, you just say, okay, where's the thick stuff where the coyotes are going to be? How close can I get in there to it? And you give it a shot. And every now and then you get lucky.
Dude, that one about got smoked.
Well, bud, it's a fun trip, man.
Yeah, another good one.
I always look forward to this trip every year. It really wasn't even on the slate this year.
No.
It was kind of a last minute thing. We had plans to go back east and film for you guys. That kind of fell through at the last minute. So we thought, where can we go? Where, it's good sometimes, not good sometimes. And Arizona's always our number one pick,
Old Faithful.
But today was fun. I mean, we had great days, the last two you've seen from the last 2 episodes, but today was different because we explored some new country.
Yep.
You were on Onyx picking spots. We probably got, if you've watched the last 2 episodes, probably the best footage we got at all 3 days.
Yep.
And then I've been calling coyotes for 25 years, and I've never killed a bobcat and a coyote on the same stand. We pulled that off first thing of the day,
That's cool.
So pretty phenomenal. If you're looking to do kind of what we do, as far as what we did today, what we were looking for on Onyx, what we were looking for on stands, go to tlshunt.com. It's an online coyote school, the only thing like it on the internet, and you can kind of see what we're doing. When I'm talking through this episode about the sound sequences I'm running, the volume of call, what we're looking for, all that's covered on that website. So I invite you to check that out. Once again, it's tlshunt.com. But I don't know, man. It's a good way to end it.
Yeah, it's fun.
The javelinas on that last stand, we've been down here. We've always seen javelinas, it seems like.
Every year.
But as you saw in last episode, we called in some, but these.
Yeah.
If those were coyotes, those would have been like the biggest, meanest, hackled up coyotes.
They're lucky they weren't.
Because I'll tell you what, when I saw your gun come up like that, I've seen that a lot of times with coyotes. I was like, uh-oh. But that was pretty cool. Well, we're going to hit the road back north. Obviously, it's not going to be hoodie weather anymore. I'm not looking too forward to that.
Can we just stay?
No kidding, we should. But no, awesome trip. Appreciate you guys following along. We'll catch you next time right here on The Last Stand.